We go up to sixth grade. So, as the students get older, maybe they'll have phones in their backpack in case a parent needs to call. But for the most part, we generally just keep it out of the classroom entirely because the reality is if you have a phone out and you're trying to figure out boundaries of when you do and don't use it, the fact of the matter is your phone may be in another classroom or in the classroom, but in a corner, but you're constantly thinking about the social media you could be on right now, the YouTube video you could be watching. You are constantly having a competition between the focus of the class and the phone that you could be using. And that's simply the way these devices are made. I would challenge any people who are pro technology use in the classroom to look at the personal families of the people who develop these technologies. Ask themselves, which Apple executives are giving their kids iPads at the age of 5? It's just not there.
Oh yeah, I know. For their own children, right? They know the damaging effects, but meanwhile, they happily damage millions and millions and millions of other people, adults and children. Yep.
It's very tragic because, you think about parents are working so hard to provide their kids with this education and, it's really being sabotaged. So I think parents and school teachers have a duty to take this seriously and to recognize that we live in pretty unprecedented times when it comes to the advance of technology and how, even though it may be something that's meant to be beneficial and productive, it may actually be deeply harmful.
So what are you noticing in the classroom? Even though you keep this technology out, like what have you observed over the past few years in the students?
So my personal experience as a teacher has been quite positive because I work in a school that's something of a unique environment. I work in a Catholic school, so we're in a particular faith tradition that focuses on something which I think really provides an antidote to the problems of attention that have come up. So I can tell you something about what I think we are doing right, but my experience of where students and student attention is starting to fail actually comes from my own personal experience as a college student and then as a young professional. So I was born in 1999, so I'm, again, relatively young, but I grew up in the age of phones where in middle school, in high school, I had an iPad and that was something I regularly used. And, I'll be honest, Richard, I actually do not have a lot of memories of that time, which is kind of a shocking thing to say. But when you think about what an iPad does to you or a technology use at such an emotionally volatile and, just a time of life where you're very easily addicted to things, be it video games, be it sweets, alcohol.
I believe you. I've talked to people that, I don't use social media. I'll watch videos on YouTube, but that's about it. Otherwise, I don't use any social media. I have it used for me, which is fine. Right. But, I've asked people like, oh, you're on TikTok. What do you remember about what you saw? They're like, I don't know. They don't remember anything. Right. So, what's the point? It's just sucking away your life and your attention. It gives you nothing.
I think, you've hit the nail on the head, man. That's completely it. So from my own personal experience, it really, I think, took a lot of the profit that I would have gotten out of my education if I had been able to pay better attention. And it just robbed me of that. And I didn't realize because the iPad, using that was a choice that I thought I was making, when in reality, if you look at the relationship in brain chemicals like dopamine or, other neurochemicals that we're starting to learn more about as psychologists begin to explore attention deficit disorder more closely, we see, these are tapping into deep psychological circuits within us. And what we think may be a completely free decision to pick up our phone is actually less free than we would like to assume. And that raises real questions for what our relationships with these things should be. It's not like a soda where, you can more or less just choose to not have one. It actually is a lot more addictive, a lot more quickly and subtly.
Okay. Again, you're in a protected environment, but it can't be that all the kids' home environments are great or supportive, unfortunately. So what do you notice as the difference amongst the kids? Like, what can you tell about what's going on at home based on what you see in the classroom?
Yeah, for sure. So I can tell you there are some families that I think do allow a little more access to technology. And I think you just see it in an inability to remain present at each moment of the school day. So I have students who are able to apply themselves to tasks that I have seen high schoolers struggle at. I have, for example, we have sixth graders at our school who are able to discuss Platonic philosophy. That is a legitimate thing that they are capable of doing. And I've had those sessions with them. We also have students who come from homes with more technology, and those students really struggle. And it's quite heartbreaking because at least within their own social world, they are comparing themselves with the kids that can study philosophy at their age. And they're like, what's going on? Like, why am I stupid? Am I, this, that, or other? Part of my role as a teacher is to help them recognize that, no, you're not. It's, like at your age, at any elementary school student's age, you are not hitting a point where the natural talent differences between individuals has been reached because you're just too young. It's like somebody who started weightlifting comparing himself with a guy who's been doing it for 15 years and saying like, well, I guess I just wasn't made for this. Not at all.